And take two. Hey everyone, it is Sunday, May 15th. The time right now is 2:53 p.m. and the temperature is around 26 degrees Celsius. And I think that would make this the hottest day of the year so far. And I'm here in the Annex neighborhood. And this street is Lowther Avenue. And there's a look north at Bedford Road. And for this one, at the request of a YouTube channel member, I'm going to go for a walk around the Yorkville neighborhood, which is just off to the east from here. And to get there, I'll head south down to Prince Arthur Avenue, and then I'll walk east over to Avenue Road and start my walk by going along an area known as the Mink Mile. And this park here is kind of interesting. This is called Tattle Creek Park. And that artwork straight ahead is called The Vessel. And that's comprised of 4 kilometers of stainless steel rods. And that symbolizes the length of Tattle Creek, which ran from this spot south down to Lake Ontario. And it's also the spot where Sir Frederick Banting lived. And according to this plaque, he was the co-discoverer of insulin. So just to the south of here is St. George subway station. It also happens to be right across the street from where the mayor of Toronto lives. And if you're familiar with the Joni Mitchell song, Big Yellow Taxi, with the line, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot, we'll be heading to where that parking lot was. That's located in Yorkville Village. And there is the Bachner Eye Institute, the preferred laser and eye center of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the official laser eye center of the Toronto Blue Jays. So here's Prince Arthur Avenue. There's the Bedford Road entrance to St. George subway station. I've been to Brouhaha before. It's in the basement of that pub there. So Avenue Road is just up ahead here. There's the Women's Art Association. And right across the street is a very 60s looking apartment building. There's a lot of really old homes here that date back to the 1800s. It looks like there's a new condo development going in just across the street. And this would be the Park Hyatt. It's a rather fancy hotel. And you'll find Morton's Steakhouse on the main floor right here. And that condo just across the street that recently went up at 88 Cumberland, I found a 2-bedroom, 3-bath unit in there for $1.749 million. Just in case you're wondering about the real estate prices in this area. And this building here used to be the Four Seasons Hotel, but they moved into that tower off in the distance. And this one was converted into a condo. And in there I found a 1-bedroom, 1-bath for about $600,000. There's Cumberland Terrace across the street. That'll take you into the heart of Yorkville. So this street here is Avenue Road. I'll be walking through there soon. There's the relatively grand front entrance to the Park Hyatt. This was extensively renovated recently.
We just sort of...
And south of Bloor Street here, Avenue Road becomes Queen's Park, and it heads south down to the Provincial Legislative Assembly. Then south of Queen's Park, it's known as University Avenue, a street you might have heard of. And right in front of us is the Royal Ontario Museum. And there's a look west into the Annex neighborhood, directly into the sun. And that building across the street used to house a flagship Club Monaco location. And there's the Church of the Redeemer. And one last look, at least for now, at the CN Tower off in the distance. And this stretch between Avenue and Yonge Street is known as the Mink Mile. Yorkville is known for its upscale stores, galleries, restaurants, and bars. There's Baton. Right next to a Tiffany. I've read that this is the 3rd most expensive retail per square foot in North America, and the most expensive in Canada. There's a Gucci. A store I've never been in and probably never will. Right next to a much more modest Winners and HomeSense. There's a Prada. So I guess this is the Toronto version of Fifth Avenue. So the neighborhood of Yorkville is bordered to the south here by Bloor Street. You can head up into Yorkville Village through that alleyway. To the north by Davenport Road. To the west by Avenue Road, where I just was. And officially it extends to a few blocks east of Yonge Street. There's Hermes. And behind it, a former pottery barn. So I'll walk the length of the Mink Mile, then at Yonge Street I'll go north. And I'll make my way west along Cumberland Terrace. And this is Bel-Air Street. I can see a pink supercar parked up there. Hopefully it'll still be there in about 5 or 6 minutes. Maybe it'll take me a bit longer to get back. And this is Bay Street, which at one time was one of 3 scramble crossings in the city of Toronto. After evaluating the foot traffic at all 3, this one didn't make the cut, but they kept the one at Yonge and Bloor as well as Yonge and Dundas. There are a large number of bicycle cops blocking off eastbound traffic here. And here's Holt Renfrew on the left. That's a Canadian luxury department store. More fire trucks heading south.
Think about gold bars.
And I think we've discovered our reason for the eastbound lane closure. When all is said and done, this will be in the top 2 in terms of tallest residential towers in the city, actually in the entire country. That is 1 Bloor West. And that features a rather neat Norman Foster design. I'm sure those bangs were just theatrics. You'll have to pardon my ignorance, I don't know what that's about. It's certainly drawn the attention of the police. And the obligatory look up 1 Bloor East. There's where you enter the Line 2 entrance to Bloor Yonge subway station. And now it's time to walk directly into the sun. This is Cumberland Terrace. So I think I'll take this over to Old Yorkville Lane. Rather, I think it's just called Old York Lane. There's kind of a bit of a dead shopping mall just on the left, Cumberland Terrace, and that connects Bay Station to Bloor Yonge Station. There's the Pilot. It's one of the few places I've been to more than a few times in Yorkville. And the new Four Seasons Hotel. So what's kind of neat is this part of Yorkville, north of Bloor and west of Yonge, was once a cemetery, and it was known as Potter's Field. And that was closed in 1855. And then this became kind of a suburban village of Victorian-style homes. And then in the 60s, it became the center of bohemian culture in the city, if not the entire country. And it's where Neil Young, Gordon Lightfoot, and Joni Mitchell launched their careers. Margaret Atwood was also known to hang out here. And it looks like there's towers of 50, 66, and 69 stories planned for that lot. And I'm gonna miss this light. You can tell some police on horseback were through the area. Either that or a very large dog. And that's a look south down Bay Street. So this was sort of the epicenter.
This is downtown here.
Sorry?
Downtown.
Done? This is,
Downtown.
I don't know what, this is Bay Street.
Yeah, basically this is Yonge, Bloor.
Yeah, Bloor is that way. Yonge is that way. That's Bloor Street right there.
Yeah, this cemetery, huh?
Yep.
Cemetery is down.
Yep.
Hi, Johnny.
Oh, hello.
I see your video all the time.
I'm making one now.
Oh,
Cheers. I think I directed him right. And I got spotted by a viewer. And now it's into Yorkville Village. And it looks like the sidewalk patios are making a reappearance. And here's Belair Street. And that is Bar Aperitivo. I'm going to keep walking along Cumberland Terrace, but it's not too often you see a matte pink Ferrari parked in front of Sassafras. I've seen this one before. That's the Hello Kitty Ferrari. I last saw that parked on Queen Street West a few weeks ago. It actually appeared in my video.
everybody likes the good life.
So this is Yorkville Park, or I think Yorkville Village Park. I mentioned that Joni Mitchell song, Big Yellow Taxi, that came out in 1970 with those famous words, they paid paradise and put up a parking lot. This is where that parking lot was, right on this spot. And this area started to gentrify quite heavily by the 70s. The subway opened in 1966 here. That sort of sent property values skyrocketing. And here's a giant rock that weighs 650 tons. That was part of an ancient mountain range. It was taken from up north in the Canadian Shield. It took 20 flatbed trucks to run it in. Or I don't know if they just used the same few flatbeds over and over again, but that's how many trips it took. Here's the entrance to Bay Station. There's another station underneath Bay Station that's no longer used. And that's called Lower Bay Station. Back when the subway opened, the lines were configured differently. And they only ended up using Lower Bay for about 6 months. Hopefully they open it up as part of Doors Open Toronto, which should be coming up near the end of the month. There's also another sort of ghost station underneath Queen Station at Queen and Yonge. There's Hemingway's.
It's just one guy that
A fairly affordable, popular spot in this area. Affordable being the key word. And this is Old York Lane. That station they built underneath Queen, I think was originally built for streetcars to go through, but it never ended up getting utilized. And here is Yorkville Avenue.
How?
I never had strong
I'm gonna loop my way back to this street soon. And this street is Hazelton Avenue.
He's much older.
I saw an Uber sign on the truck.
There's an art gallery.
I just said, we're never going to see each other.
And this here is Yorkville Village on the left.
Yeah.
And that is a shopping mall that used to be called Hazelton Lanes. I think it was about 5 years ago they rebranded. And here's Schollard Street. I think I'll be skipping this one on this walk around Yorkville. Although,
If you let that mouse, I think I would still have more.
I'm just a little curious. At 109 Schollard Street, found a 3+1 bedroom, 5 bathroom townhouse for $6.9 million. And I think that might be in one of these here. That's 119. Just in case you're wondering how much homes go for. And since we're here, we might as well check this thing out. So I'm going to head north up Hazelton Avenue here. Then at the first chance I get, I'll turn left and head to Avenue Road. Then I'll walk south down to Yorkville Avenue and I'll make my way pretty much all the way over to Bloor Yonge Station. Sounds like someone's revving a supercar. And I mentioned after the cemetery was closed up and they built a lot of Victorian style homes in this area. This next part is what I was talking about. You'll see a lot of those. The Toronto Peliconian Club, founded in 1909. That was founded to provide a place for women artists, based on what little off that plaque I just read. I think most of these homes go in at $6 to $7 million range. I found a few listings, but they were older. I couldn't find anything active.
Makes sense that we don't. But it's split the recipe in half.
This one's undergoing renovation. All right, I think I see the next street just up ahead, so I'm going to turn left and make my way over to Avenue Road. There's the New York license plate.
Exactly.
Come on, come on.
I think this house has had a for lease sign on it for the longest time. I remember live streaming through here last year, seeing that. And people were looking it up on the stream and reporting back what the price was. So these are a lot more modest homes, but no doubt still super expensive. I'd imagine most would go back to the 1800s. It's likely this entire area has been designated by the city as a heritage district. That's where instead of designating individual homes as heritage properties, they just blanket an entire area. One of these lots across the street is where Spuntini used to be. It's a very popular Italian restaurant that burnt down. There's the Hazelton Place Retirement Residence. I remember during the middle of the pandemic, back when indoor dining was banned, I was recording a live stream and I looked into this building and there was a room packed with people eating, and I was quite envious of them.
Or I broke my back.
I think it was just in through these windows here. If you find yourself living there after retirement, you're definitely doing pretty good for yourself. There's the Amazon-owned Whole Foods. I guess if you can afford to live in the area, you're not really going to balk at the prices at Whole Foods. That's the shopping mall again on the left. It's a common sight in these parts. I'm surprised that's only the second supercar we've seen on this walk. I thought this was going to be a relatively quick, relaxing walk, but in this heat, I'm soaking wet already. And there's a Tesla competitor, Polestar. And here's what else? A new condo going in. There's the old Four Seasons. And Toronto's quite known for its condo boom. I think around the world, there's really no other city quite like it. Or at least in North America. In terms of the amount of growth and high-rises going in. There's a drop-top Mustang. But Yorkville was actually home of one of the earlier condo booms in the 90s and early 2000s. There's such pressure on the land values in this area, and given its proximity to downtown and the subway stations. This is one of the first areas that started popping up large condos en masse. Ooh. Not a supercar, but a nice old vet. An even nicer new vet. There's a Chibo. We've got one of those in Yonge and Eglinton.
I have a TV, but I don't watch it.
There's a Lamborghini honking at a Cadillac Escalade. Friendly driver. That's not just a first world problem, that's a ultra first world problem. Excuse me, can you move your very expensive Escalade? I'm trying to get my Lamborghini through here. There's the Oxley. There's Old York Lane again. We came up that earlier. So for now, I'm just gonna keep going east all the way over to Yonge Street. There's another Lamborghini and parked in front of Versace. Not sure if I count SUVs as supercars. Here's that Beamer we heard revving. It's definitely some nice car watching. Audi, and look at that vet. I think that's the nicest color I've ever seen in a vet, or on a vet. This guy's busy filming that Audi, but money, no, we're no object. I think that vet would have my name on it. Yeah, you can tell I like a good value. Here's Bel-Air Street. That's where that pink Ferrari was, and there's a Pontiac Solstice. You just do not see those very often anymore. All right, I was surprised earlier that I'd only seen 2 supercars, but we've seen a bunch more since then. And a whole lot of other interesting non-supercars. And it's back to Bay Street. There's some new condos going in. I'm almost bored of seeing these things now. There's another Lambo. And this is the Four Seasons. I forget which part is the hotel and which is the residences. I'm guessing where you see balconies would be residences. And during the Toronto International Film Festival, it's quite common to see celebrities staying here. This is where Eastern Sound Studio was. There's a historic fire station. This fire hall began in 1876 and restored in 1974. And you have to be an exceptionally skilled driver to be able to back that thing in. And here's a historic library branch. This one goes back to 1907. There's an AMG Mercedes. I wonder which of these three cars would win in a drag race. I legitimately have no idea. Might just be the Nissan. I think I'd rather be on a bicycle if I was an officer, but it's certainly a fun way to see the city, I bet. And that rally is still going on straight ahead. That's the Toronto Reference Library on the left.
So in this situation, that's the vital nature of the struggle that we find ourselves in. You know, Theodore Herzl infamously said that the state that he was proposing to create would represent part of the wall of European civilization against Asiatic barbarism. That was not just the racist settler colonial ideology that
So this will lead you down to line 2.
What that was about, fundamentally,
I could head down there and connect over to the line 1 platform.
Sponsors. That's what he was saying. He's saying the garrison state that we will establish in the Middle East will serve your interest of regional domination. And that is why the secular state of Israel cannot just be seen in itself, by itself. That's why even so vital a struggle as the liberation struggle of the Palestinian people has to be placed in the context of a global struggle. The totality of the struggle against oppression in which the Palestinian people play such a leading role. The reality of the situation is that settler colonialism, wherever it is established, and I don't say this with any sense of hyperbole.
Yonge and Bloor completely closed off here. And there is the bay that's soon to close down. And on that note, I've got an ice cold drink in my backpack and I am dying to get to it. So I hope you enjoyed this very hot, at least by recent standards, Sunday afternoon walk around the Yorkville neighborhood. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. And if you wish to support the channel, there's links to Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides. And there's a super thanks button now appearing underneath the videos. Anyways, thanks for watching and I will catch you on the next one.